Hey everyone, OpenAI released Operator last week. It's only available in the United States. I'm giving it a task and see like how it'll perform. I already have the task all written down. I'm asking it to find out the history of ERP systems since 1980s. What were the major things that happened with ERPs. Like different ERPs. Launch. Like when the founder of the company. Like key features, industry served, and also what are the major failures that happen, and also what are the major updates that will happen in the ERP sector with artificial intelligence growing that great. So let's see like how it handles this. I'm understanding like there are mistakes sometimes. Like it does get stuck, but let's see like how it actually handles this thing. I did notice that this is the third time actually running this, which was successful. Um, when it goes to log into like some social media, it actually gets stuck. Even after logging in, like you cannot close the tab and things like that. It happened with X.com. So at the end of this instruction, I'm clearly instructing it to not to go or take any data from social media. So basically, instructing operator to just take the data from different websites, credible websites, and summarize everything. Let's see, like I actually, like it put together everything into a text document. So I clicked on started running. It's really amazing, like although it's new technology, like how they have actually come up with this. Uh, I think there'll be a lot of questions around like what all things people could do with this technology. But in my opinion, a lot of repetitive tasks you can actually automate and have it working for you uh, while you're actually working on the same computer on a different browser. And anytime it gets stuck, it'll ask you for taking control. Just like when you drive a Tesla, like the system will take you ask you to take control of the car when it cannot actually get confused or something is happening. Um, right now, you can see that on the browser, the in the browser actually it's coming, opening up different pages, doing its research. I'm thinking like I think most of the times I actually seeing like it's only using Microsoft Bing, but I'm thinking like that's because Microsoft have a heavy investment in OpenAI. But for the first version of the operator, I think this is sleek. Like I can think about like 5 to 6 assistants. Like in different browsers. Like doing the research and coming up with everything for me. And I can also like set alerts like if it gets stuck somewhere. Like it'll let me know like I need to take control. So far it's good. Like it's right now you can see that it's going through software suggest and going through the list. And one thing I noticed is the system is very intelligent. The 3 times I ran the exact same query, the answers were different. So it's not taking up like the same way method and coming up with exactly the same results. So, uh, but again, sometimes it's also a little bit confusing and it gets stuck. Like I mentioned before, with the social media, it got completely confused and it didn't know how to log out, how to forcefully actually stop doing everything. I'm pretty sure that I could actually improve the process by making my prompt actually more smart. One thing I did try is reverse prompting works great. So if you go to ChatGPT and tell it like this is what I want operator to do, ask me all the questions, like step by step, to form a really good prompt that will actually does the work for me, specifically for operator. It actually did a good job for me. As you can see, it's still going through different search, going in, it takes a little bit of time. This one it took like 20 minutes and 44 seconds. But what amazes me is if I ask somebody to do this, they cannot actually do this at this pace, because it's able to process all these information at the same time. I don't know, like whether it could actually stop when it actually sees like a questionable website. I'm thinking like there might be some credibility, they put together for this. Um, I've also thought about like there will be areas where this could be actually used. Most of the website owners, especially like scraping data and all, like they might need to have new checks in place to see like instead of a user driven, browsing, where the operator is doing this. I was tempted to try, like, what if I ask it to do something with LinkedIn, but I don't want LinkedIn to shut down my account, so I'm not going to try that. But there are certain areas where I think, like most of the webmasters, they need to put some controls in place to identify between real human versus an operator actually doing this. Especially there's too many activities and things like that. So that seems to be, like interesting, because in the past I've seen like some plugins, that people use for automation on LinkedIn. They actually getting blocked or getting warnings from LinkedIn. So I don't know, like how a tool like Operator, LinkedIn is going to, handle that. Um, as you can see, it's still browsing. It has multiple tabs open, and it's still browsing through, different websites that actually talks about ERPs based on the prompt that I gave. Another thing I noticed is when you're using Operator, you need to give really good prompts. You need to be as detailed as possible. Um, so I actually asked Operator to find me a good space heater for my garage. That's all I told it to do. And interestingly, they actually found a ceiling mounted, really expensive, large space heater for my garage, which was not what I was intending. Like maybe like a small one, which I can use, like when I'm actually doing my exercise inside my gym. So the more actually detail you give, like the price range, or I want it to be, it's available today at the store, things like that, then it works great. So compared to ChatGPT, I think here we need to be, like give more instructions. But once you do that, then everything like starts happening like magic. Now again, many of these websites, when they get traffic like this through Operator, like I know how they actually tackle this. For example, how does data through Google Analytics will actually show these, users which are not real users, right? I'm not actually browsing these websites. I'm not when I asked Operator to go through an e-commerce, multiple e-commerce websites and compare prices for that space heater. How exactly they are tracking this? I have a strong feeling that Google Analytics might have to come up with separating these two, and also like when multiple people, like right now, Operator is only launched in the US. Only very few people are like opted for it or have access. When it's global, like that much traffic, when people automate stuff, are we going to have like more denial of service requests, like because I'm not reading through all these, but there are multiple tabs open. It's keep on doing its work. Uh, we are living in a really interesting period in life. So as you can see, like it actually is updating, like from its memory, like what it found out, like it's adding to the notepad. And I've noticed like from time to time it'll do that and then go back and like resume the research. Pretty much neat, in my opinion. I've also noticed that it's really smart in ways where if there is a some of those intent pop-ups that happen when you stay on the web page for a couple of minutes, or in some cases if you're going to close that tab, the intent will come up, the dialog box. It's able to smartly navigate closing that, accept all cookies, things like that. Those are pretty much neat. The only place I saw, like with X.com, it has a terrible problem. It got completely stuck and it couldn't get out of it. Like even if I, like took it over, I was not able to get it out. I asked, like add instruction to, why don't you close the tab for Twitter, I mean X.com, and get out of there. It was not able to do that. So I had to essentially kill the browser tab where operator was running, and then like start again. And this time, you might have noticed on this prompt, I specifically mentioned that avoid any data from social media websites. So it'll actually stay away from social media. Another thing is, although I'm actually doing this test just for the fun of knowing like how operator would come back with like the ERP history, what kind of lawsuits happened to which all, what were those big stories, which are the bigger players who are actually coming up really good in the last 10 years, like things like that. It's just for the sake of, me understanding, like how it is doing. I think that, like that doesn't, hurt anybody. But I was also thinking, like when we do research like this, if I'm actually doing this for a specific purpose, not for the sake of fun, then I would want to stay away from anything posted on social media, because anybody can post anything. I don't know how smart it is to distinguish between what is what. I think that's the area where especially people using this tool for some research purposes. Like I think social media, we might need to keep it away, whether it's LinkedIn or X.com, Facebook, etc. As you can see, it's still doing its job. It's actually updating, and currently it's receiving the document, ensuring comprehensive content. Okay, reviewing the document. It's too small for me to read. At the end, of this process, I did actually run into a few problems. Actually, operator run into a problem where it actually tried one of the note-taking, website, and that couldn't work. Then it could actually stop that process and then move on to another search and find an alternative, and then work on that. That was neat. But one thing I noticed is, once the whole process was over, I'm pretty sure towards the end of this video, you will see that I was not able to, once it stopped everything, I got a link to download the file, and that link was not working. So I went back and, and I messaged the operator like, I cannot download that. Can you fix it? So it actually responded back like, hey, I worked on it. So, now there's a new link, this would work. And that did not work either, right? So I had to play around a little bit. Finally I was able to like open and copy paste from there. There are some errors and certain areas. There's a lot of improvement, but a tool like this, in my opinion, that is really amazing for whether you are running a business or you are like a person trying to learn new things. Even students, like if you want to learn something new, research on a topic, you can have multiple of these running and get all the information for you. Yeah, this is a part where it's actually searching for a free online notepad, and it goes through like different options, and uh, I think it went inside that specific one. Yeah, it's a free browser-based text editor. Okay. Maybe this might be the place where the research document, they already have it, the system has it. Maybe they could use the native chat GPT, feature to just, summarize everything as a PDF for a text and just make you download it. Instead of like using like a tool on the web browser. But I get the point because I could actually give this once operator gets to that level of maturity, then I can give it like really complex tasks, like take data from this website and compile this, clean it up, like do some data sanity checks, and then take it to the another website and submit it there, like things like that. So I can understand like why it's actually using this, and also it can actually show me like some of the data that it's working on. So let's say like I mentioned, this is like 20 minutes. It actually took to do the entire research. Since I'm able to see some of the work while it's working on, just like it almost feels like I have an assistant and I'm actually, watching over his shoulders, like what is coming up, what all progress has been made, and if there's something, like there's a tangent happening, then I can always, step in and say like, hey, stop, pause for a second, just like I talk to somebody, like in my office when we work together, and that might be the reason they're using like text editors and everything, wherein I can actually see it. And also they mentioned on that the launch video, like this is like for this to work, there are no need of any APIs or anything, like anything that's accessible through a browser tab, they can actually, like take data. I tried a few tasks where I went into, made operator to go and log in. I like the security feature there where anytime actually I'm actually like letting operator actually fix that. It'll actually go in and like I have to take control of the system, which was pretty neat, because I cannot tell it, I cannot save the password and log in anywhere and ask it to use it. Rather, they will actually, like I need to instruct it like, hey, like you have to go and log in here, and automatically it will come back and say like, hey, you have to take control, where you have to fill in your password, your if there is two-factor authentication. I haven't actually tried out with some like that authenticator app or anything. That might be something, the next thing I'll try to see like how this will work. That'll be interesting, like. So as you can see, like it's still, like working on it. This is the part where I had the problem with the file. So if you notice, I clicked on the file. It did not download. It did not open. Initially, I thought like there's something wrong. So, there was something wrong. So I, told the operator that not able to download the file by clicking the link or clicking it. And it's working in the background. So it said like there was an issue with downloading the file. I'll attempt to sync the file again to ensure it's accessible for you. Again, I got another one, and on clicking that doesn't work again. So I tried to like take control of it. Then clicking there, I tried to save link as and see like whether it will actually download that, but that did not work either like properly. So I was able to open it from the browser. It's kind of garbled, but again, I can just copy paste this and format this on a document. Like I mentioned at the start of this video, there are a lot of places where we need to see some improvement, but what they have accomplished, it's just amazing. Like, it is a tool when like once it's going to get more matured, like the more people are adopting this, like when it gets stuck, I'm pretty sure they're actually learning from that. The system is learning from that. That actually makes the AI system more mature. And eventually, this will be one of the finest tools if used responsibly, whether you're running a business or you're actually a teacher, the amount of work it can actually do, just like, you have multiple assistants, it's just amazing.